My 11-year-old daughter and her friends are a bunch of murder hobos. My daughter is 11 years old and started watching Stranger Things on the Lies a while back because some of the kids in her class were talking about it. After seeing some episodes, she came to me asking what Dungeons and Dragons really was. I am by no means an expert in the game. I played maybe 4 sessions about 20 years ago, but I explained the basic concept to her and she thought it sounded really cool. I found my old dice and gave them to her to mess around with. Last week she came to me and asked if I could make a Muncher story for her and her friends to play. It sounded like a fun idea, so I obliged, and because it was hell, even though we don't really celebrate it in my country, I created a small Heil campaign for the girls. In the interest of time, because they had to be done in an afternoon and I didn't have the time to browse through the entire rule set, I created simplified character sheets for them with a bunch of simple predefined skills and crafted an inventory for each of them with some helpful items to fulfill some of the challenges. I made a PowerPoint with several images to help them visualize what was going on and where they were. I prepared a handwritten scroll with their quest objective on it, burned the edges a bit to give it a cool look, recuned all fun stuff. The quest itself was pretty simple. The town where the girls live was being cursed for high, and if they didn't lift the curse before midnight, all the townspeople would turn into monsters. In order to prevent this, they needed to gather 3 ingredients from around the town and then go to the center of the haunted forest, where a witch would craft a spell that would lift the curse. I had a lot of things prepared, but the one thing I didn't really prepare for was for my daughter and her 3 friends quickly turning into murder hobos. The first ingredient they needed was a bag of candy. So walking around town, they found a kid who just went trick-or-treating first. They asked him Moschanixly to give over his candy, but well, of course the kid said Moscow no. So I imagine them using some of the gold they had or maybe be a bit more intimidating into scaring the kid to give away his candy beans. So the girl who chose the wizard noticed that I had written under the spells category on her character sheet, no fireball, so quietly she asked if she could burn the kid. All the other kids immediately were like, "Mom, bro, wait, can she?" I told them that they could do whatever they imagined, so they chose to burn the kid and take his candy. My daughter, feeling a little bit of remorse, explained that she took a tiny urn to carry his ashes with her. And well, that set the tone for the rest of the campaign, as I could have never imagined those girls being so evil. The second ingredient was a bottle of wine, so they went to the local tavern and first tried to steal a bottle. When the stealth check failed, they decided to jump the barkeep and kill him to take the bottle of wine. The third ingredient was a dragon's tooth, which they could find in the house of an Orshish warrior on the outskirts of town. Instead of just knocking on the door, their first instinct was to try and kick the door down. My daughter rolled a 1 on that check, so I told her she lost 1 horsepower because she hurt her foot. So the next idea they had was to break the window and enter the house like that. Of course, the orc was not happy with some adventurers breaking into her house and attacked the party on sight, so they casted a sleep spell on the orc, tied her up with the rope they had, and decided to just take the tooth like that. I found some art online to put into the PowerPoint to represent the orc, and the girls were like, "Wow, she kind of has cool armor on and a cool axe." So they decided to strip the orc of her armor and her axe, leaving a naked, tied-up orc behind, while ransacking some random items from her house to be continued.